Okay, we got the old recording on there. We don't need that. All right, so now let's just take a look. We're going to do about the same. Well, I better review the slides here real quick with you. Okay, so now let's look at. You got a boat. It's not It's not trying to go across the water. It's just drifting along with the current. So there it is, drifting with the current. Okay, and so the velocity of the water. So the engine of a boat drives it across a river that is 1,800 meters wide. Hey, I think you've got a homework problem that looks just like this. The velocity of the boat relative to the water is 4 meters per second. Okay, so now it starts to move 4 meters per second like this relative to the water. What is the velocity of the boat relative to the shore? Okay, so the velocity of the current relative to the shore, VCS, is positive. The current in the river is 4 meters per second. So the velocity of the boat relative to the velocity of the water relative to the shore is 2 meters per second. The velocity of the boat, he's now going 4 meters per second. I'm sorry. So the velocity of the water relative to the shore is 2 meters per second. So what would that look like? Now that I've got you totally baffled because I didn't read that correctly. So here we go. Here we go. Let's just take a peek. Now, first of all, the boat's going to go, the velocity of the boat relative to the water is 4.0 meters per second in the positive y direction. Okay? The velocity of the boat, so it's going this direction. All right, there's its vector, 4.0 meters per second. The velocity of the water relative to the shore is 2.0 meters per second. Okay, so that's going this way. So the velocity of the boat relative to the shore is equal to these two vectors. Velocity of the boat relative to the water. There we go, got first subscript, plus the velocity of the water relative to the shore. Okay, got my second subscript. But wait a second, I just can't add these. They're not going to be 6. These are vectors. These are vectors. So I've got to add these. So when I add the 2 plus the 4, I get this vector. That's the speed. So VBS then becomes of 4 squared. Well, that's my y, but plus 2 squared. I kind of mixed up my y and my x there from what you're normally used to seeing. And whatever that comes out to be. And then the angle would be the inverse tangent of 4 over 2. Okay? All right, so now, here's a question for you. Would a boat that can only go 1.5 meters per second, would it be able to go straight across? No, it would. And as a matter of fact, this boat is going to wind up, unless he makes this correction, unless he makes this correction, unless he goes this way to get rid of that part, he is not going to, this boat is definitely not going to be able to go straight across the river. Okay? All right, so that's a good problem.